The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman women's golf head coach Suzanne Strudwick, I am Danielle Whaley, and this is the Eagles Sports Network as Carson-Newman prepares to head back to the South Atlantic Conference Championship. And coach, this whole regular season has been a bit of a roller coaster. Numerous top three finishes in the first half of the season in the fall, but then in the spring a little tougher, but there was a top five finish to close out the regular season. So now that you've had time to really reflect on the season as a whole with your team, what did you guys make of your entire regular season?
Yeah, not as strong as I would have hoped. We started off with a bang in the fall and we really challenged ourselves in the schedule, played a really tough schedule, played with the some top five teams in the country in 3 tournaments. So, and finished third and second with those. So, I was really hopeful for the spring schedule. I think that Christmas break and the weather being so bad, the girls weren't able to get as much practice in, and it showed. We were very rusty coming in to this spring, the start of the spring, and we never really recovered. It's kind of been a little in and out. As you said, we are trending better, and one bright spark is that Anna Davenport has really shown her competitiveness and desire. As a junior, being a walk-on, she's a freshman on the team, NCAA eligibility, but it's just been fantastic to see the progress that she's made from, the very first tournament qualifying as an individual, struggling a little bit, trying to find her game. But then this last, qualifiers and her last tournament being the number one player on our team, finishing fourth individually, absolutely fantastic. So she's actually made the team to go to conference. So really, really well done.
And the team has had about 2 weeks now to really kind of recuperate in some ways since the end of the regular season. And in that time, you talked about the competitiveness of all of the teams that you face, especially early on against ranked opponents. And as you're heading into the conference, that high competition level is still there because there are 2 top 25 teams in the nation that you'll be competing against. So how does the team take these qualifiers and everything and kind of transition that competitiveness to get ready for this? Has the mindset changed at all for the team going into this?
What I'm going to talk to the players about is that those teams have all the pressure because it's going to come down to how they finish as to whether they qualify for regionals or not. There's an automatic bid, but only one team gets that. So the teams that finish in the top 3, that potentially can move up in the rankings. You've got Wingate right on the bubble, you've got Lenore Ryan right on the bubble, and you've got Tusculum that have to win to make sure. But if they have a really good showing and then some help from some other teams in the other regions that don't do quite so well, in their conference tournaments, then they could move up and potentially be an at-large. So, we're sitting outside of that, but they've got everything to prove and go for, and we're just the underdog sitting back there waiting to just plow right through. So our biggest thing is poise. That's going to be one of my key words, that we're going to really, sort of focus on, is just being poised and all the way through. It's 54 holes, 3 days. We can do it. It's the last round and the last 9 holes are going to be where it comes down to. And so I hope they watched the Masters. I hope they saw how Patrick Reed was able to just calm his nerves, be tough mentally, and get the job done. And that's kind of where I see our girls.
You speak about the last round and how crucial that is, and the team really saw that last year at the championship because at the end of the second round they were third, and then they moved down to 7th in that championship. And you have a lot of returners going back this year for the championship, including Elizabeth, who was the record-breaking individualist last year. So for those girls that are returning, how do they take that experience and kind of put it behind them, but also remember they still have so much at stake and a little unfinished business as they head into this tournament?
Yeah, definitely. We were very, very disappointed with how we finished last year. That is not how we want to be known at Carson-Newman to do that. So, but I think the girls were actually more focused on what Elizabeth was doing than on their own games, and because she was just in record-breaking, mode, they were just really pulling for her and focused on her finishing it. And, when I was going around, they were like, what's Elizabeth doing? So it was more of, pushing her and pulling for her than it was focused on their own games and what we were doing as a team. That's changed a little bit. I think it is all about the team, this year. And Elizabeth, although she is close to being on the bubble, to being an at-large pick, it's not as close as it was last year. So for her to make it back, we have to make it as a team. So that there is that focus that it is the team effort this time. Yeah.
There are some changes that are coming to the lineup, but that's kind of been the story for the team, with individuals really making their statements throughout the season. So what is your overall outlook for the girls? You spoke about the team really kind of being its own essential force now. What's your hope for the girls in this tournament?
Yeah, and it just keeps proving to me that it's so important to get individual spots for these players, to give them opportunities and give them the experience to play. It is a little easier playing the individual spot, and so typically the pressure's off. You're not playing for your team, you're just playing for yourself. So, that can lighten the load of the pressure, so to speak, but it's a great way to earn that experience. And so moving then into and qualifying as a team member, it's great for the freshmen, juniors, sophomores, whoever that make those individual tournaments and do that. For me, the team is the team. Every single person that's a member of the team has a valuable position and a part to play. And we emphasize that every week in practice. Doesn't matter if you make the team or not. Even if you're back here, what you do here on campus makes a huge difference. And if you're seen to be working hard and working on your game, then, you're not, the girls that make the travel team, they can't just sit and feel comfortable, because there are girls back here that are working hard. And so for the girls that haven't made the team, I know they're still going to keep their games up. They're still going to be practicing, because there's a lot to play for this summer. We're going to have some challenges that we're going to throw out there for the players. So it's not over.
Coach, best of luck this week, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
She is head coach Suzanne Strudwick. I'm Danielle Whaley, and this is the Eagle Sports Network.